Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I will be talking about add-on instructions in Studio 5000. Add-on instructions are used to create custom blocks of logic that work just like built-in instructions. They're really good for organizing your code, using common routines, and even keeping ladder logic clean and easy to understand. So I kind of show you what each one does and the ones I've been using to build my projects. And to start off, what you're going to want to do is, once you're in Studio 5000, you're going to go down to Assets. There's going to be a drop down here. Then you're going to click on add-on instructions, and as you can see here, I already have a lot of them added. If you want to add on your own add-on instructions, use some different ones, you simply just right click. Show you again, you right click add-on instructions, go to import add-on instruction, and here you go. There's a bunch of them shown here, and there's some other ones in other folders, as you can see here. So kind of play around with it, add some that you like, but these are the ones I've added so far and that have worked for me in my project. So I'm not going to go through each one by one just yet, but as you can see, I have around 12 of them added already, and I'll show you what each of them does and why they're important. So I'm going to go to my main routine to show you what each thing does here. So the first top two ones are reading and writing add-on instructions. As you can see, every time you create a new add-on instruction, you have to name it and give it its own tag, and you also have to give its axis. So as you can see, this axis is called linear. Okay, if I go down here, that's what my module here is called. So that's the reading for the linear, and then we have the writing for the linear as well. Okay, and you also want to create an axis tag, and that kind of is the basis of receiving the code. So I name mine lin axis, and as you can see, that's on the read and writing add-on instructions, and then the output is obviously the linear output. So that's why there's an O here, and then the access input is the linear I. It's the same thing for the rotary. So putting those two in is how you get the code to read from Studio 5000 to Linmont Talk. Okay, so I kind of show you what the rest of them do here. So, but make sure before you even start doing code, it doesn't matter what your name is. You can make the names whatever you want, but your axis common, as you can see here, they're going to directly correlate to both your linear and rotary motors. Okay, so then every time you want to make some movement, as you can see here, even the switch on, I go back to that lin axis, switch off lin axis. As you can see, the axis is very important because once you name it something in the reading part of your project, then that's what it's going to be forever, and that's what it's going to read from. Okay, so start off your drive status. This kind of just shows you the position of your motor. So if I go online quickly here, kind of show you what that means. So as you can see, the actual position of my motor is a little bit of uncertainty, but I'm going to move my motor now, the linear part of the motor, towards me. As you can see, now it says negative 66. That's because I just moved the motor and the position is showing directly on Studio 5000 here in the drive status. So this kind of shows you the status of your drive that you're using. And just to confirm that, if I go back to Linmont Talk and I go to my control panel here, you can see that it's about the same position right here. So these are directly correlated, and again, just by naming the axis, connecting the axis here in the reading and writing, this is what gets that connection, and this is why you can see the same thing on Linmont Talk as you can see in Studio 5000. So make sure these top two are inputted first before you do anything else. As you can see, the same thing for the rotary. If I were to move the rotary motor, it would be the same. A little bit about 1.5, and this one is about 1.5 as well. So the drive status kind of shows you the status of your drive. It definitely tells you if there are any errors as well. If you had errors, these numbers will be different, but because I don't have any errors, then it looks perfect here. And then in previous videos, I've done a lot of switching and switching off of my motors. So the switch on and switch off add-on instructions here. MSO is switch on, MSF is switch off. So the MSO one, as you can see here, previously I've been turning my motor on and off manually just by clicking switch on. and switch off over and over. But using the add-on instruction in Studio 5000, I click one button here and it switches on my motor, both motors by itself. As you can see, both of the linear and rotary add-on instructions are on the same rung. So whenever I toggle this bit on, both of these are going to turn on. So as you can see right now, the motor switched off. If I switch this off, switch it back on, so you can see that it's now enabled. And then same thing for the switch off. Go here. Now you can see the motor just switched off. So this is why it's really useful. Add-on instructions are really useful in Studio 5000 because now I don't have to manually click on each drive one by one, as it can get pretty tedious. Same thing with the homing. If I go all the way here and I toggle this back on, again you can see my motor is on. And before, I've had to home it manually as well. I had to click this, enable a manual override on, and then click the homing on. But now, using Studio 5000 in the add-on instructions, I can just click here and it homes both my motors at the same time. So, as you can see here, my motor is moving to the position I want it to home to. And again, this is very important. I don't have to keep clicking buttons over and over one by one. I don't have to home them each drive one by one. It makes it a lot simpler. And I'll show you what some other ones look like here. If I go all the way to my moving, there's also a command table add-on instruction that starts my command table. So as you can see, I have some command tables already built in. So once I toggle this on, both command tables will go at the same time, and it makes it pretty easy to use, especially if I want coordinated movements. So for example, right now I am coiling a wire and I have both the linear and rotary motor moving at the same time, and I had to have it moving at a specific pace and in a helical path. And if I were to do this by just switching stuff on and off and turning this command table on first and then turning on the rotary command table first, it wouldn't work very well. But with the Studio 5000, I click one button and both of these go on at the same time. And again, as you can see, in all these add-on instructions, it always ties back to which axis you want. So once you name an axis for a specific linear module, or a module specifically, you want to keep naming that axis. So if I were to change this name to spin axis or something, a random name, it wouldn't see any connection and it wouldn't work. So make sure whatever you name your axis in that read and write add-on instruction, you keep naming those things when you are doing different things. So as you can see, again, if I want to use the time curves are here. If I want to do the time curve, it's a time curve add-on instruction. Again, I'm calling back to that lens axis because that's what the connection is. And there's a lot of other things you can do. I can shut off my motor, which is the MAS here. I can also stop the movement, again, is MAS. And then I can just move my motor forward to a certain position I want. So MAM is the move forward movement, and then I can also make it move backwards, however I like. So these are some of the ones I've used so far. They're very important, and they just help movement be more efficient, and I can create better patterns instead of having to turn things on and off manually. It can get pretty difficult. And again, there's many different add-on instructions you can use. These are just a few of them that I've used so far to create my project. But again, there's a lot more you can use, and they're located here. Again, you go to import, you can see a lot of different ones here. So I hope this video helped you understand the importance of add-on instructions and how to add them to your project. And thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.